Good evening, everybody. I'm going to present myself. I think I'll do the best job. My name is Osie Steinberg. I'm from Israel. Sorry for not speaking good enough French yet, but I'm working on it. I'm going to present to you tonight something very special, because it is information that most people are not yet exposed to, and it is very influential on everybody's lives, knowingly or unknowingly. So first of all, I'm a physiotherapist, and I have master's degree from Texas Women's University in Texas, Houston, Texas. And I'm also an osteopath with 4 specialties, and I'm also a spiritual healer and a channeler, meaning that I receive messages from high spiritual dimensions by choice, primarily from the archangels, and the information that I'm giving you today is channeled, most of it, and it is, in my understanding and responsibility for the accuracy of the information, primarily from the archangels, explanations about creation, human evolution, the evolution of souls, which we are souls too, and how all this evolution is affecting us today. And I have been in spiritual evolution and personal development since I was 29 years old, and I have been researching and learning about spirituality and about the relationship of spirituality to medicine since I've discovered spirituality. So from a therapeutic perspective, as a physiotherapist, my specialty was management of pain. So people in pain, from physiotherapy perspective, well, maybe they have a sore muscle, a sore joint, or something like this. And as I started learning osteopathy, I was exposed to energy, human body energy, and then also higher aspects of it, and the correlation with the mind and the body and the spirit as one system, which affects pain, function, and behavior. And I have, in the last 35 years, correlated all this information, and since I'm coming from the academic background, and physiotherapy and osteopathy is closer to medical background, I was able to correlate the effect of the spiritual systems on the physical systems in the body and their correlation. And basically I have understood that the software of the body is the spiritual system, and it is the governor of how the physiology and structure of the body is organized and ordained to function. And from that perspective, it was much easier to treat people for the reason of why they're suffering or what is the source of their dysfunction. And from a pain perspective, psychosomatic pain is known, and most people don't know how it works or why it works, but they know that psychosomatic pain can be healed by placebo. Placebo is not therapeutic substance. So while I was in Houston, just to give you a little bit background how I got into spiritual work with people, I had a clinic for multidisciplinary therapies for pain in the early 90s of the last century. And in addition to physiotherapy, I had osteopathy, Chinese acupuncture, massage therapy, psychiatry, and other kind of movement therapy, in addition to rehabilitation and physiotherapy. And the multidisciplinary approach really helped people to progress. So into my clinic in Houston came a very interesting group of patients which were psychiatrically diagnosed as multiple personality disorder. In the psychiatry arena, it is considered a rare diagnosis. But because of my connection with some psychiatrists, which were working with a hospital for dissociative disorders, many of these clients came to my clinic to help them with body pain. And I had 37 clients with multiple personality disorder. All of them went through severe abuse. All of them went through sexual abuse. There were 35 women and 2 men. And all of them had from 6 personalities to a few hundred personalities diagnosed by psychiatrists. They were all part of a group of therapists. They had a psychiatrist which gave them diagnosis and medication. They had a social worker that helped with their family organization. They had psychologists which spoke to them. And nobody touched them. So I had the right to touch them, but I didn't have the right to speak to them. And the psychologist had the right to speak to them, but not the right to touch them. So we made the teamwork, and through the 8 years that I worked in that clinic, it was before I went back to Israel, we created a team of 15 psychotherapists, 3 psychiatrists, and me as a physiotherapist who had the license to touch. And we worked with these clients, and it was very good learning experience to correlate their pain with their personalities and their energy systems and their healing processes, including changing their medications according to the energy treatments. There was the psychiatrist who told me, which was one of the managers of the hospitals, that when you treat this client, please, when you clean their energy system, don't remove the medication so it doesn't change their buildup of medication for the responses we want to achieve. Meaning that the energy work changed the effects of medication on the client's bodies. Just for example, so I have worked with many years with combined physical and energy work. And in 1993, I started having the appearance and the talking of Archangel Michael to me. And in 1993, he told me to go back to Israel in 95, which I'm a good girl, I did. And then I continued my work and research on this topic. And in 2003, I started to receive channeling and online information at all times. It wasn't that I had to sit and meditate and connect, but it was online going, like a group talking to you, and I am not schizophrenic, I'm telling you. Okay, so what are you going to listen tonight? I want to talk to you tonight about humanity lessons. And the word spiritual lesson is really common with the spiritual community. Yeah, you're having a spiritual lesson, or yeah, you're having a karma. And people don't know what to do with this information because they don't know what their lessons are, they don't know what their karma is, and they feel really lost and helpless. And they're trying to achieve information, and they go to all kinds of people who tell them all kinds of stories. Who knows if it is true or not, but they have to live with that. And I was really trying to get a very clear, orderly, and truthful answers from my clients. So I want to present to you tonight the broader picture of humanity, evolution, and lessons, and how they affect us in our lives today, how they create our life, and how we are able today to actually realize what the lessons are and correct them easily and effectively, change our lives, change the course of our life, change our relationships, our health, and our total outlook at life. So I want to present this to you today. Most of it is channeled, except for one chapter, which I will explain later. So first of all of us here are souls in spiritual system in a human experience. We're not humans in spiritual experience. Most people think they're humans, and once in a while they have some a blip of a spiritual experience. Wow. No, we're spirits and souls on this planet in a human experience for a short while, for 70, 80, 90, 100 years, and then we go back. Home is eternal light worlds, earth is school for emotional experiences. So I want to present to you a broader perspective. And I have a board here, and I want to show you something that is really unique in its perspective. Everybody heard of the Big Bang? The Big Bang, yes. So I'm going to write from left to right, right? Yeah, because in Hebrew you write from right to left. So for you I'm writing from left to right so it doesn't cross your brains. So this, everybody see the board? Okay. So here we are on the Big Bang. We all know about the Big Bang and the light starting, and all creation starts. Now what happens from the Big Bang thereafter? How is it related to human evolution or to the soul's evolution? So we know that souls were created. And we know that a lot of things happen between the time of the original creation until souls started to come to planet Earth, to physical bodies, and have lessons and experiences. So from the angels' perspective, they're talking about 12 eras. So 12 eras mean that there are 12 era which can be 26,000 Earth years or longer. 26,000 Earth years or longer. Most of the time much longer. So there are 12 eras created. We have just ended the 12th era on 2012. The Maya calendar talk about 26,000 years and the beginning of a new era. Everybody heard the concept, the new era. So this is the 13th era. We are already in it. So it's just ended a few years ago. And we're in the dawning of the beginning of a new era. And the new era is a totally different era than the one before. And I'll tell you what is each lesson of each era, of what our soul has been learning there and how it affects our life now. So we have here 12 eras, and then time passes on. In these 12 eras, the soul evolves. There are, in these 12 eras, each era is a different lesson, and it is a universal era. That means that all creatures that are ever created from the beginning of creation go through these lessons. They are universal lessons. I'll tell you the list in a minute. And then comes a time where matter is created and all these souls who chose to come to humanity come to humanity, and they come, time goes on, and they come to learn about emotional evolution, how to experience emotions, and how to learn and correct these lessons. So they land on Earth, and this is humanity. Lessons. Humanity lessons. There are 12 lessons. 12. Each lesson is one lifetime. So we have a sequence of 12 lifetimes, and each lifetime is a lesson. It's not only a lesson, it's a lesson with a soul wound. And the soul is wounded with its structure and consciousness. And each lesson is basically a trauma that the soul is trying to heal. So after 12 lessons, and I'll tell you what they are and how they're felt and what they do to our lives, karma starts. Karma is the attempts to close and heal all these lessons, 12 lessons. So here comes karma. And they are, according to my findings, channeling angels, information, and also personal checking on many thousands of people. There are between 4 to 5,000 lifetimes of the souls from the beginning of humanity, this humanity on Earth, until today. Because during the evolution of humanity on this planet, there were difficulties in existence. There were wars, there were problems with climate, there were natural disasters, there were famine, there were wild animals, there were brutality and violence in the home, there were brutality and violence in humanity. People did not last the first year of their lives. They did not last childhood. If they reached adulthood, it was really not too many reached it. So many souls came for very short lifetimes. So the lifetimes were short of half a year, 3 years, etc. People, many thousands of people died in wars. There was no medicine, no antibiotics, no telephones. So life cycles were short and repetitive and many. They were all an attempt to heal humanity life lessons, the 12 ones. So we have 4 to 5,000 past lives. And then we come to here, and this is our life now, when we are born, birth. So, before our birth, the soul comes to life 18 months before conception. 18 months before conception, to learn strategy for life and strategy for survival from the dynasty, at least 5 generations before their parents now. And the soul come and pick up strategy for life, strategy for survival, family laws, family secrets, family illnesses, family genetics, family consciousness, religion, rules, etc. And then the soul accepts consciousness during conception from both parents, what their state of mind is. And then through pregnancy, the soul accepts consciousness from the parents, especially from the mother. Then through birth, the process of birth, the soul accepts consciousness from the mother, from the doctors, from the nurses, from the father, or whoever is around it. And then the first year of life, the soul of the first year of life accepts consciousness of the parents, brothers and sisters around, and the grandparents or people who are near it. And it accepts it like this is how it is. No judgment. So if the mother is really scared, so this is how life is. If the father is very angry, okay, so this is how it is. There's no judgment about the state of mind of the adults at that time. And this birth and acceptance of consciousness and energies from the family continues until the development of the child, until age 13 years, and then start puberty. What does that mean? It means that all this history from the Big Bang, creation of soul, all 12 humanity lessons, all 5,000 karma events, all pre-conception, conception, pregnancy, birth, and 13 years are now on the responsibility of that soul to resolve, to heal and complete the lessons. Okay, all this is upon a 13-year-old person, and all this karma is coming up to the surface, and we call it puberty, or the crazy years of evolution of the child. You know, at that age, it's really crazy. They go crazy. We don't understand why. Because this karma starts surfacing in their lives. They feel it, but they don't know why they feel like that. So then psychology deals with this section. From here, from birth, until the time when the person comes to see them. Anything before birth does not exist. So you understand the proportion of how much history the soul has to resolve before you come to get the psychologist to tell you what's wrong with you, or why you feel like that, or what can be done. The proportion is really enormous between all the history and 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of life on earth now. There is no proportion about it. And where people don't know. Now, why do people don't know what's happening with them? Or what is their history? There are two reasons. One, every soul that comes to this planet comes under a veil, which, when you are under this veil, you forget who you were, what you came for, what's your purpose, what's your lessons, how wonderful and big and great you are, what is your mission, what are you here to do, and you come to this planet with free will. It's a universal law, free will, free choice, which it wouldn't be if you knew who you were and what you came here for, and what's the purpose and what are the lessons. Then it won't be a free will. So you forget all that, and you come through the birth canal, the block is there, and now you have to start figuring out who you are and what to do with it. And then people come to all kinds of therapies to try and resolve these blocks. Now, this general map explains to you the evolution and the history of humanity, but it doesn't tell you what's in it. So what I want to tell you, first of all, is what happened in the 12 eras. This is channeled information. I've looked. I have not found written information supporting it in any other place. So if you want to believe me, you're welcome. If you don't want to believe me, it's okay too. I don't blame you for it. So, from a universal perspective, all beings that were created in the first era were souls, but also other universal species. And the first lesson that was when everything originated from the Creator was unity. Unity. Unity with the Creator, unity between the soul and the Creator, and unity between the soul and all that is around. So that is the first lesson. So then time passes on, souls evolve, start moving around, starting to learn about stuff around the universe, and then start the second era. And the second era is about internal and external balance. Meaning, how do you keep harmony? So, if you are a soul in the universe, if you're connected to the source and you get the light and life force, that's good. But if you don't, who do you turn to to support your survival, to other souls or to other forces. So then, do you keep your internal balance or do you lose it to other forces? So the lesson of internal and external balance is something that everyone on earth has. I want internal balance and I want external balance. And many people are constantly juggling between these two extremes. And it is second era lesson. So then comes the third era. And in the third era, the soul learns about loyalty to yourself. Because if the soul went and leaned and took energy from others and then started exchanging energies with another soul, was it loyal to itself, yes or no? Not so much. And if it wanted internal and external balance and it was loyal only to itself, so it doesn't have any relationship with others. So the lesson of being loyal to yourself was based on losing your energies to other forces externally. And the soul lost the love to itself through that process. Okay, and then came the fourth era. And the fourth era lesson is trusting the existence of the soul. Can the soul trust its own existence? Yes or no? How many people are dealing on earth daily with trusting their own existence? Can I exist? Yes or no? And it comes in all ways and forms. Can I exist financially? Can I exist emotionally? Can I exist physically? Will I have food? Will I have medicine? Will I have somebody to love me? Etc. So this lesson of trusting your own existence is still ongoing with humanity today. And these are universal lessons for all creatures that ever created. On the fifth era, the lesson was the value of your existence. What is the value of your existence? Now, as a spark of the Creator, as a soul, what is your value? Is it possible to value a spark of life from God? It's not possible to give it a value. What is valued is your actions and products. Not who you are, but what you do. So there's a great confusion at that time between the human being, which is the soul, which has undescribable value, or the human doings, your actions and your performances and your products, which then can be valued, and people are confused about it. They are confused and they think that what they do or their product is who they are and is their value, which is absolutely wrong. So many souls have this conflict and they come with this conflict to life, and it's very difficult for them to feel their own true value. It gets lost in all these processes. And then they feel, my existence doesn't mean anything. I don't feel my value. Other people don't reflect to me my value. So, what is this existence about? And these are very profound questions, but they're very ancient. They're from these 12 eras. It's the fifth era question and lesson. And on the sixth era, the lesson is honor and respect to your soul and all life. Now, I'm not giving you all the information of everything that happened in each era, because it's too much information and this lecture tonight is limited in time. But in every era there were universal evolutions of different galaxies and different species. And the reason why souls had to learn about the honor the respect of the soul itself and to all life is because at that era there were many experiments that were done, and many of them on souls, experiments of different, I will call them alien or star people, and they were experimenting, and when you experiment on another spiritual being, is it respectful for their freedom? Is it respectful for their structure? Is it respectful for their soul? Is it respectful for their free choice? Of course not. So these experiments, which happened during that era, really affected many souls, and they lost the feeling of self-respect, or that they can be respected. And when they come to earth, to life, they have issues about respect, self-respect, or not feeling respect from the surrounding, mirroring it to them through their life. Okay. And then we come to the 7th era. And the 7th era, from historical perspective, is the time of Atlantis. Atlantis, I'm sure everybody heard the name, Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis fell under the sea. From a historical perspective, Atlantis was civilization that did inhabit Earth, but they were of higher spiritual dimension consciousness. Okay, so they were not three-dimensional conscious like we are now. And they did a lot of work with crystals, basically with the forces they used. They broke the energetic grid of planet Earth, and then the crust of planet Earth sunk with the grid, the energetic grid of the planet, and then the civilization sunk with it. And the lesson of the 7th era is the ability to be happy with everything that is. How can any being be happy with such a catastrophic, colossal disaster happen and half of the planet sink with all that humanity with it? So souls lost their ability to feel happiness in that event, and many souls are here again and they cannot feel happiness, they cannot be joyous with everything that happens. So they lost their ability to feel joy and happiness unconditionally, just because everybody see their dogs get up in the morning, they're always happy. They come to you, they're all very happy and wiggle their tails and smile to you and all that. They don't care about anything. They are happy unconditionally. But we have to find a reason why should we be happy, and we cannot feel unconditional happiness. And it is from that era when such a catastrophe happened, and humanity, many souls from that time lost their ability to feel happiness. They lost that from them. Not bad enough. 8th era is a time when humanity, not this humanity, previous humanity, which is already mentioned in the Bible, and it is the human groups that was destroyed in the flood. Remember the flood in the Bible? Noah and the ark? That humanity was affected by forces, universal forces, which brought consciousness which was destructive and evil. And many of these humans accepted it, was forced to have it and behaved like this, until it wasn't in alignment with the greater plan of the whole universe. It was going backwards. So that humanity was destroyed with water. And I'm not here to make a judgment if it was the right call at that time or not to destroy whole humanity, but all these souls that were in that event or in these experiences had a lesson of betrayal of their own souls. So many people come to life with that lesson of betrayal of themselves. And they don't understand why they're doing destructive things to themselves all the time. And it is that lesson of that part of humanity. By the way, these are all accumulative lessons. It's not just one lesson and nothing else. It's all of them, one after the other. After that, it was the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of this civilization. Very, very, very early. Other eras, the Ninth Era was about knowing, it's about the soul's knowledge, recognizing the knowledge and the wisdom of your own soul. But with all the destruction and all the damages that happened, many souls lost the knowledge of who they were, what they're doing. So in this Ninth Era, there were already beginning of souls in physical bodies. And these souls lost the knowledge of what they know and who they are. And many people come here with this feeling of, I don't know, I feel like I don't know. Who are you? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What's your mission? I don't know. What makes your passion? I don't know. What do you know? I don't know. I feel like I don't know. And that lesson comes from that. And then the 10th era is about trusting your knowledge. So, how do you trust your knowledge if you don't know what your knowledge is? And that is the 10th era. The 11th era is a very sad era which affects humanity till today. The lesson in the 11th era was recognizing yourself through social circles, your family, your community, your society, who you are in relationship to these human cycles. At that era, there was a major break because of cosmic invasion to the spiritual higher spaces, and the balance between the male and the female harmony was broken. And at that time, males and females which were balanced, harmonious, loving, trusting, with absolute complete harmony, were broken. And the male hierarchy and control over female started. And then started also karma in families, because males and females were not fitted anymore, and the trust was broken, and there was abuse, and there was mismatch, and then everybody tried to look for a better person to mate with, to be your soul mate. And that's where karma and mismatches in families started, and the descent of the female force in equality to male force. And the male control over female started, and it continued in humanity. And the 12th era was about learning and recognizing your power by overcoming hardships. That is the 12th era. Recognizing your power by overcoming hardships. So most souls lost their power through all these eras, especially on the 11th era. They lost the key of their inner strength. And they came to the 12th era to learn about their strength by overcoming hardships. And overcoming hardships means you have to go through difficulties to recognize that, well, actually I am powerful. But you forget your knowledge. You don't trust your knowledge. You can't be happy. You betray yourself. You don't have balance with the male and female forces. There's no harmony. And now you have to learn about your strength by overcoming hardships, difficulties. And the last 6,000 years, humanity, consciousness went down and down and down and down and down. And especially the last 300 years, science defined reality through three-dimensional concept. Mass, space, distance, and time. And that's what defines reality, of the three-dimensional reality. There are many other dimensions and realities, but they're not defined. What happens to equation if there is no time? On the fourth and fifth dimension, there is no time. Fourth dimension is the dimension of time. Fifth dimension, there is no time anymore, it's beyond time. How do you calculate that into your equations about three-dimensional reality? How do you build machines that measure that? That's challenging. So science discovered with the electron microscope, electronic microscope, that basically electrons are particles that can change from mass to wave of energy by the intent of the observer, which is the scientist. What does that mean? Is matter matter or energy? So when we are looking at spiritual bodies, an energy body and physical body, what do we really measure? Where does the energy end and where does the physical body start? And how does that energy change physiology and molecular function in the physical body? And what happens at the energy in the intramolecular space? What happens there? And that's where our spiritual system is. And that's how it affects our physical bodies and change the health into health or not health. So then, scientists developed the string theory. Okay? So the theory about, I forget the word. Never mind. The string theory says that there are 11 dimensions. Not 3 dimensions, 11 dimensions. That's expansive. How 11 dimensions all work together with matter. Okay? But the human spiritual system has thousands of dimensions. So what is 11 dimensions mean in this whole big system? All right, just giving you points for thought. Then I'm looking at the human 12 lessons. So then these brave souls that had all this experience from a universal experience and universal point of view, decided to learn about emotions on planet Earth and joined as humanity, as a civilization on planet Earth, and started to come lifetime after lifetime to do some learning. So the first lesson of humanity on Earth is lesson about unity. Sounds familiar, I think, no? Unity. Unity with what? Unity between the person and himself and his soul. Now the soul is far out there. Unity between the person and the Creator. That is not present in the physical reality, that you don't feel it, you don't see it. And unity with all other nature, humans. So that is the lesson. And it is very difficult to keep unity when you're fighting for your life, fighting for your existence, fighting for your status in the tribe, in your family, and feel still a part of that. So unity is a great lesson, and many people in that soul situation experienced great loss and abandoned by the Creator, abandoned by the family, abandoned by the tribe, and they repeat this pattern in this life until now, and they always feel abandoned. So these people are born, and before they have a chance to bond with their family abandoned them, and they go to be adopted somewhere, and they feel abandoned. Or that the parents are sick and they cannot take care of them, and they feel abandoned. So that experience always is repeating in their life stories. And then the soul goes back home, and then comes back to the second lifetime. And the second lifetime, in physical body, the soul learns about what is its need. What does the soul need? Now, the soul's need may vary there, and the soul comes with 12 options of what it wants to experience as a need. And I'll give you an example. The soul may need to exist in the physical body, the existence, how to keep your existence going on. Or it may have an opportunity to experience the need to advance. Advance in your position, advance in your life, in your learning, in your family status, etc. The soul may have a need to be first, firstborn, first in run, first in hunting, first in between the brothers, etc. So people until now always want to be first. They have a need to be first. Another need is to succeed, to be successful, to succeed. But if in that life lesson they didn't succeed, they failed, it becomes a default, and they always come to life with the need to succeed. Do they succeed? No. They're in the need to succeed. So they don't succeed. They fulfill the need to be successful, but they're always in the need, not in the performance of success. So they're stuck on that default all the time. So this is like an example of what happens with those life lessons. And since the life lesson is not only an experience, but it's also a trauma, and in the trauma the soul not only torn and disconnected from higher dimensions and lose soul parts, it also loses its consciousness integrity. So it may make decisions or contracts which will be binding until today. It may lose its rights. And if you lose a right and you don't claim it, you don't have it. So you come to this life without your rights. What do? I want to do it, it doesn't happen. I feel I'm weak, I cannot perform it. I don't have my right to do it. I can't. I don't deserve to do it. So people come with thoughts and beliefs from these lifetimes, which are embedded in the soul, not in the physical body here on earth after birth. They come with it already built in from them. And if you don't identify it and treat it, then you can talk about it, but it's still there. It doesn't heal. It doesn't clear. The third lifetime, I'm not giving you all the aspects of it. It's too much detail. I'm just giving you kind of examples. So the third lifetime where the soul comes to earth is the soul learning about the will. What does the soul want? How to activate the will. You have to understand, when the soul is up there in eternal light worlds, everything is nice. The soul is with the Creator, lots of love, peace, comfort, knowledge. Everybody is harmonious. How do you learn about will? How do you learn about need? You can't. You have to go somewhere else to have the opportunity to learn what it is to activate your will and feel it through your physical form with the soul and feel how much it is to forgive, to be free. How does it feel to be, to enforce justice? How does it feel the will to correct things that are wrong? How do you have the will to heal? If you're all complete up there on the higher dimensions, how do you experience the need to heal or the will to heal yourself or others? You can't. You have to come somewhere else to do it. And this is the opportunity for the soul to learn about the will. And sometimes the experiences through the soul wound is traumatic. And the will of the soul to come to this planet to experience love and to experience joy and closeness and grow and develop. And then the conflict of will becomes, well, if somebody comes and oppress you or take your will away and you become their slave or you become their you're like a war prisoner or something like this, What does your will have to do with anything? What you want it to be small and restricted and limited and survive. Just that they don't kill you and it becomes your default. So in case, instead of feeling powerful and free, you reverse your will, and now your will is to hide. To be small and restricted, just don't kill me. And this is your default, and you come with this to earth. In this life. Now, you are a public speaker, and you want to be seen. Yeah, but your will tells you must be hiding. How can you publicly speak? You want to advance. You want to be strong. You want to be the leader of your company. But your will tells you from your unconscious mind, from your higher soul, that you must remain small, limited, and restricted. How can you advance and succeed in society today with this soul's will? And it is the default, but it is the soul's will. That's what the soul decided it wants, instead of dying, of the death of the body. You understand? So people come with these lessons. It is will, but they have 12 options of will choices. That's why it's so confusing. Nobody can see the bigger picture and see that there is a very, very strict order in the topics. And the fourth lifetime of the soul is perception of life. How do you perceive life? Now, when the soul is up there in the heavens, perception is wonderful. Everything is great, love and light and peace and wisdom and all that. Now you come to earth and you have this unbelievably violent humanity, yeah, and nature and climate and animals and all that. And there's hardship to eat and to find shelter. And now, what is your perception of life? So most people adapt perception of life that suffering is justified and expected. And they come on it to life. And they manifest it. And they say, I don't understand why I'm suffering all the time. Other people come with the belief about perception of life that there is no choice or chance to have any different way. Or that I have no strength, ability, or power in me, or there is no justice. And that is the perception of life. And they do not have the understanding where it's coming from. It feels like this. Logically, who would like to think like this at all? It doesn't make sense. It's negative. But the unconscious mind from the soul trauma has that imprinted, and it manifests that reality in your life. Because this is the majority of who you are. Your physical body is tiny. Your soul is humongous. So your soul decides what is going to be the perception and how it's going to be manifested. Yeah? And then comes the fifth lifetime. Now, Now, the fifth lifetime is the lesson of the soul of what it wants to learn about. It's the primary learning topic that the soul wants to learn about. It's not perception of life, it's learning. Okay, now, the soul takes one or more of the era lessons topics that we've discussed and brings it to life on physical earth to learn about in physical body. And it wants to learn about it from the physical experience now. Yeah. So the soul comes with its primary learning about acceptance, self-acceptance. How do I accept myself in these circumstances? How do I adapt to intense changes in life, or rapid changes, or constant changes in life? And this is a life lesson. How do I love myself and feel complete, whole, with wholeness, completude? Yes? How do I feel like that? How do I feel with charity? How can I give with charity to myself or to others? You understand? Am I giving you too much information already? No? Okay. Some people come to learn about communication from the heart. And because of circumstances, they shut down their heart. So you can find these people who are politicians and lawyers and actors and professors. And they cannot speak from their heart. They speak about stuff, about knowledge, about mental stuff, about all kinds of stuff. But they cannot open the heart and speak the truth of their emotions and their inner core truth from the inner heart. They cannot share that. It's the hardest thing of all. And they have a lesson of communication. And there may be people that come with lesson of creation. And they're great creators, but not to themselves, to others. And they can never receive correct reward for their creation. So there's never this creation with reception of equal reward for what you create. So these people always come to life with great ability to create, but inability to receive proper reward for it. So they build great companies for others, and then they get very small money, and they leave and start again, and they never get balanced between their creation and reception. And you see these people in life all the time, and they don't know why they cannot get abundance. Okay. Other people come with a problem of boundaries and self-definition. And in their lesson about definition, self-definition, they lose a lot of their energy through circumstances of fighting or losing their body was violated or hurt or injured, and they lose their integrity of their spiritual structure, physical structure, and they come without boundaries to this life. And everybody gets into the personal space and they cannot protect it. They don't know how to protect their personal space, and they feel invaded all the time, and everybody around you feels too much. And they feel great suffering, but they don't know why it's like that, because they came like this because of that lesson. And other people come with problem of integrity. Lesson of integrity. And what they think, what they feel, what they say, and what they do is never in alignment. Politicians are great about it, but other people too. And people in family dynamics that have this lesson are usually the ones who are called the ones who betray. What they say is never the same as what they do, and they don't feel it is a problem. That what they say, what they think, what they do, or what they feel is never in harmony and never in alignment to their spouse. Yeah, it causes a problem in communication and human relations when you're like that. But you don't feel it because for you it's normal. Yeah. And other people come with problem of love. They cannot love themselves. They cannot really love who they are. So they want everybody else to love them so they feel loved. But it's never exactly what they're looking for. And then they blame them, you don't love me the way I need for you to love me. Well, what else can I do to love you more? You don't feel I'm loving you? No, I don't. I can't feel that love. Yeah. And other people come with the problem of trust, not being able to trust themselves. They lost their own trust in that little soul wound, in that experience. This is all, by the way, the fifth life lesson. It comes from these eras. And if you cannot trust yourself, you experience betrayals all the time. And all the time people betray you. You feel betrayed. Anything that people will do will feel betrayal. And it will really be a betrayal. In business, in relationships, in anything that people do, it always feel like it's wrong. And you sometimes betray yourself, and sometimes you cannot trust yourself to reach your fullest potential. And this is a lesson about trust. And other lessons are about truth. People don't know what their own truth is, and they will go to others and say, well, what do you think I should do about that? I don't feel what's right. And they will pay many professionals to tell them what to do. And they won't feel, and they wouldn't know what it is. They can't feel it inside them because they lost it in that lesson. And it's the hardest thing for them to feel truthful with themselves, to know what their own truth is. It's frustrating. They can't even choose if to buy butter, salt, or sweet. They don't know. They can't tell from the life of them what it is best. They don't know. It's frustrating. Okay, so this is the 5th life lesson, and it is a life lesson that is one that all souls come to life with. All souls come with that life lesson to earth. All souls. There is not one soul that does not come with the 5th life lesson. One of those topics is chosen. One of them. So that's why it's hard for therapists or psychologists to identify what the problem is, because they don't know which lesson it is. The 6th life lesson on earth is about contracts. And I want you to know that contracts spiritually are binding. That means that your soul and other person's soul are connected by chains or by rings. Like people have contract in marriage, yeah? Contract in work, contract in relationships, contract in leadership, contract in teaching and studying, contract in pair relations. And these souls are coming with vows and contracts from the 6th life lesson, which are unbreakable. And they cannot progress beyond that contract. For instance, if somebody took a contract to be loyal and love only that person forever and ever and ever, we are soulmates, we love each other, we will never choose any other soul. And now they come to this lifetime and they want to find another person and get married. They can't. They are married to that one. So they cannot manifest pair relationship and get it for life, because that contract blocks them. Other people who are in celibacy for being a priest or being a nun, and they make a contract, an initiation with the Creator to be married to God and never to human, and never to multiply or have sex or to have couple relationship, and now in this life they want to. Oh, but this is still holding on and the soul can't do it. Then what? What do you do with this? Yeah. So it has to be released somehow. Okay, you understand? So contracts are binding beyond time. It's not one lifetime. It can be many, many lifetimes. Okay? Now the 7th lifetime is about human relationship and family relationships. You see, after the contracts, now you're going to learn about how to relate to other humans and how to be in family despite these contracts. And then the soul goes through all kinds of weird experiences, emotional, property, loyalty, responsibility, etc. in family and human relationships. And when you come to this life, it manifests. And then you have, I can't figure out why I can never get along with my family. I'm the black sheep of my family. Why is it always happening like that? And you don't understand why. But if you realize what the lesson is, or what the subtitles are, 1-to-1, perfectly accurate of that lesson. Yeah. So then comes the 8th lesson. Now you're going to learn about being successfully independent. You see, in the past history of humanity, people depended on their tribe, on the family and tribe to survive. A human alone, it was very difficult for one person to survive on their own in nature, yeah, through those circumstances. So they did have to depend on their family, tribe, or community. And learning to be successfully independent under their circumstances was difficult. So some people come with a lesson of being independent with over-dependency. I always depend on my tribe. I always depend on my family. And some people come with the same lesson with opposing experience of rejection of help and support. I will do everything myself. I'm a centralist. I will do everything by myself. I don't need your help. Here, I'll help you. No, I'll do it. I don't trust anyone. I will do it myself. I'm falling to pieces. I am so exhausted. I can't work anymore. No, but I'll do it myself. I won't take help. And people are like this, and they don't know why they cannot accept help, etc., etc. And some people are submitting to authority. They cannot be their own authority. They submit to others' authority. Oh, I will do only what my boss tells me. I cannot take responsibility for this, etc., etc. So then, this is lesson about the independence, how to be successfully independent in all aspects of life. Are you tired yet? Yes? Not yet? You want to know about the 9th lesson? Yes. The 9th lesson is the soul's ability to choose and manifest. The soul's ability to choose and manifest. And here comes the struggle to choose. If you're able to choose, can you manifest? So many people come to me, I don't know what kind of profession to choose. I don't feel what I need to choose. What is my call? What is my mission? What is my passion? Where is it? I don't know. I don't feel it. I'm lost. I can't feel what attracts me, what makes me excited. No, I can't feel it. And some people say, you know, I'm really great and really attracted to art. I'm really good at it. But it can never work out. It never manifests. Whatever I try to do, it never happens. I do all kind of other things. It's okay. But when I want to do what I'm really good at and what I really want to do, it never happens. And then I check, yeah, 9th lesson, choice and ability to manifest. So people can be stuck in that lesson and they cannot choose, or if they can't choose, they cannot manifest what they chose. And it's frustrating. But if you understand it is a lesson and you heal it, well, they can sail in life, choose and manifest, and it's working perfectly. Because they don't have to do that lesson again and again and again. The 10th lesson is about responsibility. Okay, you chose, you manifested. How well are you doing it? How responsible are you to manifest what you chose? And the responsibility can be on both directions. Running away from responsibility or taking too much responsibility and not letting go of responsibility. And taking responsibility for everybody. Being exhausted, but still taking responsibility for others. Instead, letting them do what they're supposed to do and you do your share. No sharing. I take everything on me. Yeah, some people recognize that in that. Yeah? No, it's not us. Others, not us. So, having excessive responsibility, some people take responsibility for their grandparents' missions. I'm going to take revenge what they did for my grandparents. Hey, guy, get a life. No, it's my responsibility to resolve the revenge for my grandparents for what they lost or what happened to them. What about your life? My life is to resolve their loss, their shame, their whatever. Yeah. So they take responsibility for things that are not really theirs to resolve, and they don't live their lives. Yeah, and it's very common. You see it very commonly. Okay, now comes the 11th life lesson, and it's about courage. Courage. So in courage issues, people have the most difficult time in negotiations. To stand in front of other authorities and say their truth with courage. They can't. They will never say what they feel is true. They will always avoid arguments. They will always avoid conflict. Yes, dear, you have whatever you say. Yes, dear, oh, I can't stand it. Yeah? You know these people? They are not able to really stand in front of whoever it is she who must be obeyed, the wife, or the parents, or the boss, or any other authority member in his social circles. They cannot face them and say their truth. And it's difficult. They just absolutely can't get into argument or to negotiation. They cannot negotiate. And they cannot resist authority, and they cannot say their own truth with full mouth and pride and no, no, I don't agree. I have a different opinion. Thank you for your opinion, but mine is different. And just say no. They can't. And that is a lesson about courage. And many people have this lesson because they lost in battles. And they lost in human relationships, in families. They lost faith, they lost their respect, they lost their value, they lost their social status, they lost their lives, they lost their health, they lost their families, and they're not willing to repeat that again. And it's a soul wound. And they're really, really, really in decision to never do that again. Now they don't have it in their conscious mind, but it runs the reality all the time. And that is their earth lesson about courage. Last but not least, the 12th life lesson. That's the 12th life on earth. Yeah? And it is about self-value. After all these experiences, how do you value yourself? How do you recognize yourself? How do you value your abilities, your qualities? How do you respect yourself? How do you love yourself? How do you criticize yourself with balance, not over-criticize, under-criticize? And how do you put limitations or no limitations on yourself? And that is self-value. And people who come with a self-value lesson have low self-esteem from birth. They always feel less than everyone else, inferior. They don't know why, but they feel like that. It's true. They do feel it. But they don't know how come they are less than others. But every time they have to face any situation, they always feel less than others. In the family, in class, in school, at work, in any situation, they always feel less than others. And it's the 12th life lesson. So now, what do you do with all this information? How do you know what is your lesson? Yes, so one thing I must say. Every soul comes to earth only with 3 out of the 12 lessons. Only 3. The 5th life lesson, because it's primary lesson that all souls learn. And then, before the soul comes to life, it chooses one of the menu, which lesson, and the subtitle in it, subtopic, and it comes with 2 other lessons, and they manifest in life 100%. So, all life experiences, events, conflicts, imprints from their parents are always according to these 3 lessons, and possibly few of the eras. Yeah? So when a person comes with a situation, their life will be according to the life lesson, the 3 life lessons they have chosen before coming down to earth. Now, how would they manifest these lessons unless they chose a family, a dynasty, which will, with their culture, location on earth, language, historical events, rules of survival, will impose that on the soul in physical reality, so the person will have to deal with it. So who choose the parents? The child. The soul of the child choose the parents, which will bring her or him all the time mirrors to face their lessons and to complete them and heal them and terminate that experience. Now, how many times does the soul have to repeat each lesson? thousands, hundreds, tens times. How many times you have to repeat first grade? Isn't that enough? So for every life lesson we have at least 27 repetitions of lifetime to every soul wound. Or 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 repetitions of the same lesson. And then the soul come here loaded, and you have 12 lessons and 5,000 lifetimes, and you choose only 3. Now that is an easy way out, so to speak. And you come to this life, and you don't know why things are like that. And you're so upset with your family for being the way they are. Hey guy, you had a lesson to manifest on earth, and you chose these people to help you to focus on this topic, to deal with this and complete it. So these people were chosen to be imprinting on you those experiences. They're not your enemies. They're souls who agreed to participate in your lesson, and you in their lesson. So it's a mutual benefit to both souls if you know what the lessons are. Yeah. So the soul will choose, coming with the lessons it chose, the physical body structure, the gender, the historical events which will support the lesson, the family dynamics of the parents and the grandparents and the dynasty. It will also choose who will be their potential lovers, husband or wife, the people that will help them and support them and empower them and inspire them, or people that will knock them and humiliate them and hurt them and break them according to the life lessons. Everything is in perfect choice and order in life. Everything. There is no chance. I'm telling you. I've been working from age 29. When was that? Phew, a long time ago. I'm working 35 years with spiritual healing. I've seen thousands of people. There is no chance. Everything is in order. According to the era lessons, according to the humanity life lessons, according to karma, and according to all kinds of orders of the universe. There is no freebies, no chance. Everything is in order, in the right timing, in the right time circle. Everything is organized perfectly. Even if you don't know the reason for it, and you say, oh, that was fluke, that was just a chance, it happened by chance. There are no chances. It's all organized. It's all meant and it's meaningful. Even if you have a cavity in your tooth, it is because of emotional, mental or spiritual reason which weakens the tissue. And I have this book from Gilbert Renaud of Vancouver. He's a great doctor. Him and about 5 or 6 different other physicians made a whole dictionary of all thoughts and all conflicts, past life, family dynamics, or dynasty beliefs, or life trauma in this life that caused every illness and every condition and every behavior that you can possibly think of, everything from a mental perspective. Even what happens on this joint on this finger, what does it mean if it has arthritis? So every organ in the body relates to a consciousness, and it is the way to express that consciousness. But if you do not understand the language, your soul is talking to you through your body, or through your feelings, or through your experiencing, or through the mirrors in your life, then you're walking blind, deaf, and mute. And this is not what you want to do. So believe me, no, you don't have to believe me. People who know me, and some people know me, how many years? 7 years? Some people know me more than that. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I try to be the most honest to myself and to others. There is not one cell in the body who does not express what the spirit, soul, or aura carry in it, and is not part of a greater plan of your soul to express and talk to you through it. People who are psychic, that have their senses more expanded, which can hear energetically, see energetically, and feel energetically, guys, they are normal. Blind and deaf is not normal. Spirit, to be the majority of your being is a spirit. Your body is the smallest part of the whole system. And to go in life thinking that seeing and hearing and feeling energetically is abnormal, is that sane? Really, is that sane? So humanity in the last centuries got scared of spirituality. And spirituality became, ooh, the unknown, boogie, really scary. And people are afraid to feel, afraid to see, afraid to understand, afraid to hear. And they block themselves really early. And children come to earth with open spiritual senses and say, Mommy, I'm scared of this monster under the bed. Sweetie, I don't see any monster. I think you're just imagining it. Really? So it is better to be multidimensionally aware, open and receptive, and understand what you see and what there is, than walking blind, deaf, and mute, and with no sensation at all over your system, and totally with disconnection from the biggest system of your body, which is your soul, of your being, which is your soul. And your soul is talking to you through sensations in your body, through dreams, through awarenesses, through symbols that happen all around you in mirrors, in nature, with other events. And it is always talking to you if you know how to read and understand these messages. So my message to you is, be honest with yourselves. Listen, learn. Be aware that everything in your life is in order. Your soul knows it. If you could talk to your soul, you would have known why, what, how, and what's the purpose of everything that is happening with your lives. Some things are important, and some things are hard. But if you put it in the perspective of those two era lessons, humanity lessons, and karmatic repetitions with attempts to heal and complete these lessons in your life, you can make a major difference in all the way you feel and live your lives. And I've seen it happening again and again. And how many anecdotes does one person need to understand that this is not a chance, that there's an order and it is repetitive, always the same way. And you can teach it, and you can train people to do it and to heal in the same way. Then it becomes accepted knowledge. So the information I'm giving you now is 200 to 300 years ahead of humanity, knowledge, and ability to prove. It is ahead of time. It is. But humanity will gradually learn and evolve and be able not only to prove it, but also to use it and to heal and improve the quality of existence of people on this planet. And this is why I'm here for. Because we are within a new age, and people are blind, deaf, mute, and with total anesthetics spiritually, and they don't know what's going on. And my mission as a person on this planet is to help humanity to evolve and grow with ease, to complete these lessons, and to get into better quality of existence and life, and meaningful life, good life, with harmony and unity and respect, and understanding what we're doing here and doing it with joy, with passion. And the meaning of our existence is not for vain, just living and eating hamburgers and watching television and playing with Facebook and stuff like that. It's much more than that. So, this is why I'm here. So thank you for listening, and I'm open for questions if there are any at all. Yeah. So there's a question from people here, and this gentleman is asking, I don't know why whatever I do, I'm not successful. I cannot get the results I want, correct? Yes. To answer your question, I have to ask few questions energetically. Now, how do I know? I have a truth detector. Truth detector is energy. I'm connected to the higher dimensions, to the Creator, to my higher soul, and I allow energetic movement, which I feel in my crown chakra. Other people do muscle testing or pendulum. I don't trust that, to get the truth. And I ask yes, no questions. So to answer your question, I have to see if your problem is locked in lessons of the eras, soul wounds of humanity, and yours is the past life 6, which is contract. You have a contract locking you. Unless you unlock the contract, you're locked in that limitation. So whatever you do, if it's a work limitation, work contract, then doesn't matter what you do. If you're locked in contract of being a slave, guess what? You're a slave. Still, doesn't matter what you do, you're a slave. You don't have the right to enjoy your product. You're working for everybody, you're serving everybody, but you don't get what you want because you don't have the right. You don't have the right to receive what you want because you're only a slave. Slaves never had rights. So your soul wound lesson is 6, and it is about contracts. And you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 57 lifetimes repeating that. You're very well trained in not receiving anything you want. It sounds funny, but that's how it is. So your default is not receiving anything you want to do for you. Yeah, for others, yes. Not for you. That's slavery. Does that help you? So she knows also how to do it. So Claire is trained in all the courses I've done, and I have 5 different courses that start from learning about anatomy, physiology, all the soul damages in past lives, all the soul wounds of humanity and how to correct them, and all the era lessons and how to correct them, with all variations. And I look at it like a doctor looks at the client. I look at the category of the damage, of what it is, the historical perspective, the spiritual levels where they are, and correct one by one, systemically. Just like a doctor looks at the client spiritually. Do you have another question?
No.
That's it? No? Okay, question.
Est-ce qu'on connaît la leçon de la 13e ère?
The lesson of the 13th era. Do you know?
Interesting question.
Bonne question.
Thank you.
Yes, so the difference between all the 12 eras and the New Age, or the 13th era. The 13th era has total different laws and rules for existence.
pour l'existence.
And the law is evolution and growth
L'évolution et la croissance,
with harmony
avec l'harmonie
and unity.
et l'unité.
At the beginning, comme la première.
It is like, but in a positive experience, not going down with the energies, down and down and down into density, but coming out of density, up and up and up to lightness. We're rising with our frequencies higher and higher. When you clear, I have a broader answer for you. When you clear your lessons, you write your future. When you clear these lessons and these lessons, your soul chooses total new learning in a good way, in a positive experience. Remember that all lessons were about going away from the center of creation outwards, from air to fire to water to matter to earth. Now we're coming back towards air, so it has to be lighter. So we have to remove all the burdens of history and karma of our soul. For some people, it is difficult because too many karmas come all at the same time and they go like, oh, I can't bear it, I have to live on earth too. Yeah. But the 12th lesson, which was hardship, learning about your power through hardship, now it is learning about your power, having your power with ease and comfort and fun and empowerment. Opposite. But you have to dump that karma to be able to do it. You cannot jump in the air when you have all these weights on your legs. Yeah, it's impossible. So we need to clear all that karma, all those leftover imprints from the lessons, and move forward. Another question?
Une autre question.
Yes.
C'est possible de juste reciter les 4 premières leçons.
She wants just the first lessons to repeat.
The first lesson of the era or earth?
Les airs ou sur terre?
Les derniers sur terre. Les dernières.
Humanity.
Unity.
L'unité.
And the first lesson of unity,
The fourth first.
fourth or first?
Four first lesson.
4 first lessons?
Yes.
First lesson is unity,
Première leçon. La première c'est l'unité.
and the conflict from that lesson are, is there God?
Est-ce qu'il y a un Dieu?
Is there a God?
Est-ce qu'il y a un Dieu?
No, I'm atheist. Is there God? There's no God?
Il n'y a pas de Dieu.
Okay. There's only separation.
Il n'y a que la séparation.
There is no love, light, or life.
De lumière ou de vie.
I do not exist,
Je n'existe pas.
and I'm not wanted by God. These are the content of the first lesson that people may go through.
Sujet de la première leçon.
Sad enough, but many people feel it. You say, no, but you exist. Yeah, but I don't feel it. I know it, but I don't feel it. The second lesson is the soul's need.
Les besoins de l'âme.
What do the soul need? The soul need to have the experience of the need to exist. The need to advance, the need to be first, the need to be a parent, the need to be protected, the need to give love, the need to feel equal, all kinds of need for balance, need to create. So there are different needs and the soul go through those needs. That's the second lesson. The third lesson is the soul's will. Volunteer. What does the soul want to experience and do? Will, not need. Will. And force justice. Be submissive. Yeah? Be free. correct wrongs,
corriger les
heal,
guérir,
use power to punish,
utiliser le pouvoir pour punir,
be small and restricted,
être petit et
hide.
se cacher.
Yeah, that's the will, and you do it in life.
Vous le faites non.
Wanting or not wanting, it's
Vous le voulez ou
happening.
non, ça arrive.
And the fourth life lesson is about perception of life.
Perception de la vie.
How do you perceive life?
Comment vous percevez la vie?
Suffering is expected.
Vous attendez à souffrir.
All about life is difficult.
Tout ce qui concerne
Pessimism.
la vie,
There is no choice of
il n'y a
chance.
pas de choix.
I don't have strength in
Je
me.
n'ai pas de force en moi.
There is no
Je n'ai
justice.
pas de justice.
These are the four ones. But
Ce sont les quatre premiers.
so when a person comes to Earth and they have a variation of two lessons, and both of them are manifesting,
En relation, il y a deux.
a therapist uses the truth detector to see which life lesson is happening and which subtitle is happening in your life. That's diagnosis. Okay.
What can we do to receive all the energies, to feel, see, and hear?
The question is how to use my spiritual senses.
Yes.
Clean the junk, correct the damages, and your body will work normal.
How can you do that?
You get spiritual help. You can have this treatment or the method I'm using, which is the one method, God's method, or other therapeutic methods. But you need to get your spiritual structure completely working. You have to take all negativity and blocks out. It's like, how do I get to drive my car and see the road? Clean the windshield, you will see. How can I listen? Get the junk out of your ears and then you will hear.
Can you do it by yourself?
What?
Can you do it by yourself?
Can you do it by yourself? Do you know how to do it? You have tools to do it?
No, that's my question.
So, well, I'm teaching it in Belgium now, but there are many methods of spiritual healing. And I use tools from the Creator directly, between the Creator and the client, not between me and the client. The one method which I'm teaching is a method where you receive the forces directly from the Creator to your own soul. It's not coming from me. I'm just the agent asking for you to receive it, but you're the one who, your soul, your body, your mind, and God work together to achieve what you want to achieve. I'm not doing it. I'm asking it for you. I'm not doing it with my own energy. That's old way of healing. Bringing the energy to the healer, send it from the healer to the patient. The healer has too much junk from other clients. They didn't wash their hands spiritually. So I'm not using it that way. I'm teaching to accept the energy directly from the Creator to you. So you have to connect first. Plug in. So, to be able to use your senses, you have to clean your spiritual system and to correct the structures and have everything correct. If it is correct, it works. If it's not, if it's broken or dirty, you cannot use it. So, simple.
Yes.
True? Vérité?
Yes.
Do you want to explain how it worked with you?
Yes,
You can
in
say.
French or in English? Both.
I think everybody speaks French here, right?
No.
Everybody understand French?
You understand French?
Yeah, all speak French, right?
Ok.
Yeah.
Alors, au premier cours, je ne sentais pas encore l'énergie. Premier cours de la One Method. Pendant le cours, je ressentais quand les personnes m'envoyaient des cordes et tout. Et chaque fois, je disais à Osie, oui, mais maintenant je sens ça, et maintenant je sens ça, et maintenant je sens ça. Donc, premier cours, j'ai commencé à ressentir ce que les autres, vraiment fort l'énergie des autres personnes. Le senti s'est développé. Deuxième cours, vous recevez votre couronne, vous commencez à sentir directement d'en haut. Troisième cours, vous commencez à entendre mieux. Enfin, les sens se développent, vos sens spirituels se développent de cours en cours. Et c'est pas pour faire de la pub, c'est vrai.
Thank you. So most people who clear with the Creator's forces and lights
Les forces des lumières,
their spiritual bodies
leur corps spirituel.
and clear negativity or blocks or beliefs, whatever, and heal their structure, are able
La structure.
to normally activate their spiritual vision,
Leur
auditory,
spirituelle, leur
sensory,
audition,
and
leur
knowingness.
et leur connaissance.
And it comes
Et
natural.
ça vient naturellement.
You can also learn how to do it, but your tool has to work for that.
Vos outils doivent pouvoir
If it's blocked, then you can practice on blocked tool.
travailler sur les
Doesn't work.
outils
Okay?
avec
Any more questions?
plus de questions. Autre question.
Eric, you have something to say?
No.
Well, incognito. So, one thing I do want to say about the one method, it is a way of healing that was given to me, and I kind of through many, many years accumulated the order and the knowledge and the understanding of the structure of the spiritual system, the physiology of the spiritual system in correlation to the physical body, what kind of spiritual damages create physical or behavioral problems, what's the correlation, and the lessons, and the reason why I come here to Belgium to teach it is to give not only therapy to people and to help them to grow and evolve personally, but to give the therapists and the people opportunity to help others in a way which I find the most advanced I've found so far. If I will find a more advanced method, I will learn it. And it is something I believe everybody can learn and use, because these forces are universal, they're not specific to any particular sect. And everybody can use it in addition to any other profession they have. So it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a psychotherapist or a coach or NLP practitioner or physiotherapist or dentist or teacher or lawyer or business person, anything that you do with humans or with any life force like animals, nature, it always works, because it is creators, direct forces passing through. And one of the easier way to use it is when you connect it to your fingers, and then when you activate your fingers, you bring these forces in. So every time you think, intend, say in your mind or heart, or move your fingers, you bring these forces. So it's really easy. You do this and you have it. You bring it in anytime, any moment, anywhere, for any purpose. So it's really useful. So for me, it's like a way of life now. And it's really helpful for me to stand hours and hours and work for hours and stay focused and stay powerful and go on. And now I'm in my mid-60s. I feel like in my early 30s. I mean, I really don't feel my age, because the energy makes your body younger. It reverses your age. And I'm serious. When the energy is healing your body go back to younger stage of health. So basically this energy makes you younger. Energetic, vital, clear, creative, powerful, not in a bad way, in a good way. So the quality of your life is better. And suffering is coming out of your life. Yeah. Any more questions?
D'autres questions?
No?
Clear.
Good. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. And I appreciate the effort you made to come all the way from south of France and from north of Belgium. And some people from Holland here, or not yet? And from Paris, yeah? And from other places, all over this
Nord de la France.
continent. So thank you very much.
Et même si
And have a good evening, and there are drinks and fruits and stuff
Et
downstairs.
là, on vous invite à boire et